Isn't it ironic that my first video with a voiceover is about silent switches? Today I'll be comparing 5 popular silent switches: Gazzew's Boba U4, Outemu Silent Forest, ZealPC Zilent, here in the Aqua variant, Kailh Box Silent Brown, and Gateron Aliaz. But before I begin, a quick disclaimer about this comparison. Switches are very subjective. What I say about these switches are my own opinion and they may not match with yours. Firstly, we have Gazzew's Boba U4, which I think is by far the current most popular silent tactile. This switch is very tactile. It has little pre-travel and a nice balanced bump. It is also pretty smooth stocked, and the housing is extremely tight, meaning that switch film is unnecessary. Next is the Outemu Silent Forest. This switch is a variation of the Outemu Silent Sky switch that utilizes the transparent top housing of the Outemu Ice switches. These switches have a short, crispy, small, medium-sized bump. I also found that these switches have a slightly larger housing than usual, making them quite difficult to install. Now is the ZealPC Zilent. Here I have the Aqua variant. These are very tactile, just like ZealPC Zilent switches. I personally don't notice any difference in terms of tactility between the silent and non-silent variants. To make this comparison a little fairer, I spring swapped my 67-gram Zilents with some 62-gram Zelios. This reduced the tactility by a little bit, but not a whole lot. Next is the Kailh Box Silent Brown. Kailh's box line of switches are supposed to be more waterproof and dustproof than regular switches, as the leaf is enclosed in a box. They also have an enclosed stem design. This switch, like other Kailh box switches, to me feels kind of like a clicky switch. It's about as tactile as a regular Kailh box brown. Finally is the Gateron Aliaz. I said in my sound comparison of the switch that it was moderately tactile. I take that back. Trying these switches again, they feel like linears. There are loads of memes about how Cherry Mix Browns feel like scratchy linears, but these are a whole lot worse. The non-tactile portions of the switch, however, are very smooth. Now is the stem wobble test. And here's how I would rank them in terms of their stem wobble. Now, the usual disclaimer about sound tests. Sound tests are not representative of what switches sound like in real life. It was especially difficult to record the sound tests as these switches are just so quiet. Because of this sound test is even more unreliable and inaccurate than usual. So take everything you hear with a pinch of salt. To conclude, here are my own personal rankings in terms of tactility and quietness. In my own personal opinion, I think that the Gazzew Boba U4s are the best silent tactile switch. They have a good balance between quietness and tactility, as well as the tightest housing and least stem wobble.